Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Robocop. The original Robocop, that is. This is a donation reward for Venom0027. And I have never seen this movie, but I say that with a verification. I've never actually sat down and actively watched this. I have seen bits and pieces here and there while my father was watching it on TV. But I was never actively paying attention. I never, I always, had my headphones on and was doing something on my computer. I just happened to be in the room, and I glanced up on very rare occasions. That's about it. I didn't really catch anything. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't notice. I don't know anything really about the story or the characters or whatnot. I believe it takes place in Detroit. I think I've heard that. And I believe Robocop is a cyborg. Like a person who was enhanced with cybernetic enhancements, basically. But I don't know anything other than that about what the story's actually about or anything. Again, what the characters are, who the characters are. I don't even know who's in this, actor-wise. All I know is, I don't even know exactly when it came out, but I think it was the 80s. I'm not sure. But I'm interested to check it out for sure. This is seen very often as kind of a pinnacle of early action films and everything. Up there with the likes of the Terminator and whatnot, Predator or whatever. And it's just something I've just never seen for one reason or another. Now, I don't really know what to expect at all, like I said. But I'm hoping that it's good. I don't expect much from any kind of graphic design or any kind of special effects or whatnot. I'm not expecting a lot from that just because of the time it came out. And I don't know how the acting's going to be, because acting in that time could also be very kind of touch and go. Sometimes it could be very good, like in Back to the Future. Sometimes it could be not so good. But sometimes it could even just, for some movies, it's just some of the acting in it is good and some of it's not. But it's again, without knowing who's in the movie, I can't say. Also, as a note, you may notice we are in my room instead of out there. The day I am recording this, simply put, I did not know other people were going to be around, so I'm staying in here to just be a little more polite, to not be as distracting and everything as I would be if I were out there. So it's as simple as that. I kind of have a setup for, since this is longer than an episode reaction, because I recorded Revolutionary Girl Utena and Fire Force for this weekend in here too. I have a setup though differently for this reaction because it's a movie and it's going to be longer, to where I'll probably be sitting against this wall over here, pretty much with a bunch of pillows and stuff behind me. But just as another note, because I am in here, you might also hear the fan going. I apologize for any noise pollution from that, but simply put, I kind of have to, because it gets pretty warm in here pretty quickly. And if not for that, I'd be sweating, and I would just be a mess. So it's probably just the best idea. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what this is actually about. And yet, apparently there is a remake for this, which I also have never seen. I don't know who's in that one either, so I really can't say about that. I just know there is a remake. I'm interested to see what this is like. Apparently, as well, this movie sold. This movie's famous apparently for selling toys to kids. Despite I think this movie's rated R. Yet this movie sold is it's famous. It's one of those movies that are famous for marketing toys to children, despite the fact that children shouldn't have been seeing this movie in the first place. And so it's like, why? Why were there movies that did this that were definitely not for kids but still marketed toys for kids? It's like, are you really that obsessed with money that you're just going to market towards an industry, towards a demographic that you shouldn't even be rooting for seeing your film in the first place? It seems like a complete money hungry strategy. Nothing else could explain it. It just seems like a weird move to me. And it's not the only movie that's done this by any means, but it's just like, I have heard of this movie talked about in regards to that plenty of times about again, movies that sold toys to kids that really shouldn't have. Within that context, I've heard this talked about, but again, do not know the actual story, do not know characters, actors, any of that stuff, just the very bare bones basics. Just again, that I think it's in Detroit, and I think the Robocop character is a cyborg. That's about all I know. So I'm excited to get into this. I'm excited to see what this is about. Thank you to Venom for donating for this. And so yeah, let's check it out. When the screen fades to black, pause this to redirect and go to the description below. Follow a link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, that was Robocop. And I'm just going to get this right out of the way first. I liked it, but not as much as some other films I've reacted to and stuff. It's just, there's a couple things about it that just bother me, or a couple things about that just don't live up to, I guess, the expectations based on how popular and big this movie is. And also, there was one thing I felt that was not properly given the conclusion it deserved. That being the stuff with his family. I feel like the only thing that they gave us was like, oh, your wife, she moved on because she thought you were dead and everything. It's like, I feel like we could have shown them again. Like his wife and son. Other than the flashbacks we saw when he was going through his old house and all, I feel like we could have actually shown them, maybe. Maybe even having them come in contact with him somehow. I just feel like it kind of left us hanging on that a little bit. But everything else was wrapped up, if a little quickly. But so let's talk about this. So the story is about a new transfer to the Detroit Police Department who, in his first job, is violently and brutally murdered by this group of criminals. He ends up getting his corpse after death is resurrected into a cyborg body known as Robocop, without his memories fully intact, and kind of having to live according to 3, but also a unknown 4th at first directive. So it kind of the directives in a way remind me of iRobot, like the rules of robotics and everything that were in that. And no matter what, he can't go against his directives. It will actually cause him to shut down, as we saw. but I also like that throughout this we see it's made very clear that he still has humanity to him, even if he has to kind of unlock it in a way. We see him like have these nightmares about what happened to him. Even though he's a cyborg and everything, he's still having these nightmares. We see how he has this thirst for vengeance, and how he does have this kind of warm rapport with Officer Lewis, his partner that he was assigned to prior to his death. Um, and it's like we get to see throughout the film that he does have humanity still, despite being more machine than man as it currently lies. And I like that. I like that that was a recurring theme throughout this film. Um, and I don't know how the remake does it, but I think it was done fairly well here. I also like that this movie very much delved into the corruption and greed of a lot of these corporate entities, of a lot of these big businesses and these conglomerates that you see in like real life that own everything. You know, companies like, let's be honest, Disney or whatnot, that own everything, and it's like you get into like the corporate greed and the corruption and everything, and I like that. Um, and I like how it shows that basically no one here, no one, none of the organizations, none of the groups in this are completely good and are completely just in the right all the time. Like the police are clearly meant to be kind of the most consistently good guys in this film. But really, the only ones you can truly say are the good guys in this movie are Robocop himself, Murphy, and Officer Lewis. They're the only two you can actually say are truly good guys in this film. Everyone else, even the other cops, have issues and are shown to not exactly be the best, even if they're not like as terrible as the corporate people in the course of the story. Um, the the effects were about what I expected, though actually a little better, because like while you still got like the very awkward like stop motion with those robots, um, the effects in terms of like the people getting shot, like all the blood and gore and whatnot effects, as well as the explosion effects and all, I thought they were fairly good. Not like the best or anything, obviously dated, but not bad. And so I definitely have to give credit for that, where it's due. The acting, the acting was very hit or miss with this, and it pretty much was entirely dependent on the character and the actor. Most of them were very awkward, I guess would be the best way to put it. Most of the actors did not seem like they did much acting, and if they did, were not really necessarily that believable at it. Um, a lot of them just felt really forced and just not that good. Peter Weller was RoboCop. I know the name, and that's about it. I've heard of the name. I looked up some of his filmography, and it's like I know some of these movies, but I don't really think I know him as an actor per se. He was probably the best actor in this. I would say he was the most believable actor, both before and after his death as Murphy, before and after he became RoboCop. He was the most believable actor in this. The bad guys, for the most part, were really awkward. Apparently, the one bad guy, Bedecker, or whatever his name was, apparently he was the guy who played Red Foreman in that '70s show, which I would not have even thought of. But it's like he was so ridiculously over the top in this. it was honestly just kind of it was awkward. It was weird and awkward and just didn't feel natural. Um, even the big bad guy at the end, um, Dick, even he at times was okay, but then at other times he was so over the top with his evil. It's like, oh come on, really? Um, I guess the guy above him in the company, the actual head of the company, was okay, and Lewis's actor was okay, not like amazing, but okay. Um, the actual story, it felt like it was a little weirdly paced. Like there were a couple points where it felt rushed, but also a couple points where it felt like it dragged a little bit. I feel like for an hour and 40-minute movie, it could have been just handled maybe a little better, and maybe the remake does that better with the pacing. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think it could have just been handled a little bit better, just a little. Um, and yeah, just overall, I I did enjoy this movie. As much as I'm pointing out issues and stuff, I did enjoy it. But it's like this is just automatically not going to be the kind of movie I'm super into. It's just not that kind of movie for me. Um, I like some action movies for sure. I like some sci-fi movies for sure. But it's like it's just what kind of movie this is and how what it's focused on and everything. That it's not as much my thing. But again, I didn't dislike it, not at all. I'm definitely still okay with having seen it, and honestly, I'm good with having seen it because it's something that I've just never seen, something that's such a huge deal in pop culture, and now I can finally say I have seen the original RoboCop. Cool. That's pretty much my views on it. Cool. Um, but either way, thank you to Venom0027 for donating. If Venom, if you or anyone else wishes to donate for future movies, because right now this was the last movie we had on the list. We have no more movies coming unless we get more donations. But if anyone wishes to donate, feel free. Just leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you might want me to react to. I can tell you if I've seen it or not, and we can go from there. But either way, thank you so much, and I'm excited to see what we got in the future. But for now, we'll continue on with our other reactions and stuff, our weekly episodic reactions to different shows. And for the time being, uh, I hope that you enjoy those. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of RoboCop? Did you enjoy this movie? Did you find some issues with it? Let me know down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.